When I visited Valerion at IFA this year, they had an actual cinema at their booth. It looked like a cinema, it sounded like a cinema. And when we accidentally caught the light switch with our elbow, everyone in there reacted like it was a cinema. It's actually a true story. But the weird thing was, this entire cinema was powered solely by two consumer-grade products. It was powered by the Valerion VISIONMASTER Max and the Thunderbeat sound system that they've recently produced. You can own this cinema. You can actually put this cinema in your living room. And at the end of the day, the speakers are so small that your wife probably won't even find them. My wife probably won't even find them. Get away with so much stuff. She's behind me, isn't she? The question is, though, if I take those products out of their perfectly controlled, very dark cinema environment, I just stick them in a normal place, will they hold up against a standard TV? It's a question I've been asking an awful lot over the years when it comes to projectors, and the answer is always yes, but. So the question is, have Valerion taken out their butt?
Sponsorship cancelled. Sponsorship cancelled. Sponsorship cancelled.
Thanks to Valerion for sponsoring today's video and for sending me their VISIONMASTER Max projector and their Thunderbeat 5.1 surround sound system. This is the perfect projector for discussing the potential for replacing your TV with such a thing, and I'm going to explain why. Now, I've done side-by-side comparisons with TVs before, and the reality is they are never going to be as bright or have as deep of a black level as a standard television does. It's just physics. But what you find is that they are so much bigger and so much more immersive that to a lot of people like me, it doesn't really matter. Before you go anywhere, I can see you leaving. The point is, though, that this projector now has much deeper black levels than ever before, and is now brighter than ever before, meaning that it should at least get somewhere close to my TV in an ambient lit room, and that will all depend very much on what kind of a screen I point it at. If it's as good as they say it is, I'm going to be more rabid than the members of Hanson are whenever the older one tries to join in.
Can you tell me?
I showed you guys in a previous episode what their AWOL projectors are capable of. That's their ultra short throw division. When you pair them with an ambient light rejecting screen, you can actually open the curtains and still have a watchable image, and because it's not a TV, there's no screen glare. This week, I wanted to set the record straight a little bit about what these screens really mean in your home when you are comparing them side by side to a TV, because there are multiple different options for screens because there are multiple different scenarios you might want to screen for. An ambient light rejecting screen rejects light from above and from the sides, specifically so when you're sat in front of it, you get pretty much nothing but light reflecting back from the projector off that screen. I also showed you guys in a previous episode that you can get these ALR screens in roll-up versions, which means they can be placed literally anywhere, unlike a TV which you can't put over the front of a window unless you want to block out all of your natural light. And luggable projectors like the one I'm featuring today, you can actually position on an angle and stick it on a table and just point it at the screen whenever you want to use it. When you pair the right projector with the right screen in the right environment, the image is sexier than that Princess Leia scene in Return of the Jedi. Am I thinking of the right one? I don't think this was the scene I was thinking of. Is this hot? Is it better not awaken anything inside of me? I even showed you that with a really good projector, you can actually point it directly at a white wall and still get unbelievable results. But both the ALR screens and the white wall come at a cost. It's called Speckle.
That's a tiny schmeckle. Yeah, we have a boy. We have a
Speckle. Not schmeckle. Let me explain what Speckle is. To me, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't even notice it the first time I used an ambient light rejecting screen, and apparently it only affects laser projectors specifically. So, somebody pointed it out to me and I went, yeah, I can kind of see there is like a shimmering effect when there is a solid color on the screen. And a company called WUPRO have been kind enough to donate a screen to me for this video, which is a matte grey screen, not an ambient light rejecting screen. And these are like a middle ground. These are things that you use if you have a little bit of ambient light in the room, and they reduce speckle whilst giving you really, really good contrast ratios still. It's only once you start to open curtains and stuff that you start to think, maybe I would have been better off with an ambient light rejecting screen, but then you get the speckle. If you're a home cinema enthusiast, you'll want a white screen. And when you've got a white screen, you basically get no speckle at all, but the contrast ratio is terrible unless you switch all of the lights off and close all of the curtains. You need a very well-controlled room to really get the most out of a projector if you've got a white screen. Now, Valerion have stuck some very cool technology into this projector. They've created something called a dynamic dimming EBL algorithm that measures every frame of footage and adjusts the optical iris and gamma curve to lower the black levels whilst still preserving highlight brightness. Here, as usual, is Paul from the past to take you through my findings from yesterday. Paul from the past? Why are you still wearing the same t-shirt, you tramp? Because I haven't had any sleep. You don't get any sleep tomorrow. You don't get any sleep because of the child. F you. F you. So this is a grey matte screen. This is not an ambient light rejecting screen, which is a real testament to just how powerful this projector actually is. I just wanted to point out, this room still isn't devoid of ambient light. The screens behind me are kicking out a load of light. I've left the cabinet light on because I think, people tend to have a lamp on at least, and it's the whole point of a grey screen. And I do still have the little lamp over there on. The enormous lamp over there on. So yeah, check this out. Look. How beautiful is that? It's just stunning. If you were going to watch movies, this is the way to do it, man. Forget TVs, they're not big enough. Let me show you what broad daylight looks like. It's not going to look very good, obviously, but it should still be watchable. Okay. It's actually way better than I anticipated. So I don't have a lot of windows in this room. So let me just show you. I've had to actually open the door to try and get some light in here. And I've got the window, I've taken the blind up. So yeah, between the studio lights and the daylight, I can't believe how watchable that actually is. If you're planning to watch TV like this, you'd actually find you probably get glare off your telly, being as the window is pointed right at it. And that's a perfectly watchable picture, what on earth? Just thought I'd show you, you wouldn't want to watch a movie like this. Obviously, you'd turn the lights out, but again, it's actually watchable. That's bizarre. I'm quite shocked. I honestly didn't expect to be able to watch a movie in broad daylight, but you could. I also just wanted to point out that whilst I was just showing you that stuff, I forgot I'd left this light on. This light was shining directly at the screen for the whole of that test. So not only did you have the daylight from the door and the window and the ambient light in the room, I also had my studio light pointed directly at the screen. Yeah, that's impressive. If you enjoy what I do and you're watching me on a regular basis, YouTube keeps dropping me from people's feeds. I keep getting told, oh dude, I haven't seen you for like a year. I forgot you did stuff. Please subscribe and ding the bell so you get notified. It really does mean a lot. On with the show. If you're not familiar with triple laser technology, it's basically the best you can get for a projector when it comes to pinpoint accuracy of those tiny little pixels. This is a 4K triple laser projector with lens shift as well, which actually means that you have more flexibility on projector placement without any damage to the image or additional input lag, because you can shift the image vertically optically, not using some sort of digital system which might give you artifacts. The same is true of zoom. That is optical too, which means you can enlarge and shrink the picture to some degree without having to do anything digitally, which again means less artifacts, perfect picture. Brand new to this projector as well is something called RBE, something that Valerion have produced to try and help people that have the rainbow effect issue. I don't know if you've experienced this, but if you've watched a laser projector and you move your eyes around, you might see colors trailing because your brain interprets the image faster than the projector can produce the red, blue, and green from the lasers. I don't have this problem personally. Maybe my brain isn't very good. Maybe I'm stupid. That's probably true, I'm probably stupid. It also has Google OS built into it and a fast enough CPU that it is quicker than my Fire Stick. A lot quicker than my Fire Stick. You can fly around the menus with the remote very, very quickly, and the remote is backlit too, which again, in this industry is quite a rarity. Gaming-wise, this projector is advertised as having 4 milliseconds at 1080p at 240 Hz, but is actually usable at 4K at 60 Hz. At 4K at 60 Hz, the millisecond response time was measured at something like 17 milliseconds. Anything below 30 or 40 milliseconds is perfectly good for gaming, so projectors really are catching up with TVs when it comes to that too. You're probably wondering, how did I measure that? And the answer is, I watched Rob from the Hookups video. He knows what he's doing. I just like projectors. Shiny. Here's some AI footage of Rob giving me a hug. He'll like that, I'm sure. There are two types of reviewers on YouTube. There is Rob from the Hookup, and there's everybody else. And this is the projector he's telling you to buy, having done God knows how many scientific tests. The guy has bought so much equipment to measure things like contrast ratio, lumen output, speckle, every single thing you can possibly imagine that you wanted to check about a projector. He's done all that, and he says this is the one to buy right now. Literally 1 month ago, he did 6 different projectors, all with the same test, and said this is the one for this price bracket. Rob also demonstrated that of the 6 top projectors in this price category, this is the second quietest. And you know which is the first quietest? Valerion's previous model that isn't quite as bright and doesn't have as good contrast ratio. Valerion really do make the best projectors on the market, and if you're interested in picking one up, the link's in the description. My hatred for this moron runs so deep. So, he hasn't even told you what's wrong with it. Here are a bunch of things that are wrong with it. I'm Paul from the future, in case you didn't realise already from all the flying cars in the background. The situation is that there's nothing really wrong with the projector itself. It is the best on the market, but it is extremely expensive compared to some of the other things that it's competing with. For example, the original Valerion projector that I reviewed, the Pro 2, that is substantially cheaper and doesn't have much over it. If you were comparing the two side by side, you might be better off spending less money and getting the Pro 2. It's also not got the greatest onboard sound, but I mean, that's normal, it's a projector. If you're looking for proper sound and you're a proper cinema enthusiast, you're not going to rely on that anyway. You're going to rely on a proper surround sound system like the Thunderbeat, which is incredible sounding. So first of all, the speakers all just synced together when I connected this little dongle thing in the back. As soon as I plugged that in, that was it. All the speakers just connected up, and I had like this really, really good surround sound. I know, I wish you could hear this, but the sound is glorious. They are really nice speakers. That's the thing of beauty. The Thunderbeat sound system itself, it's beautiful sounding, but it's dumb. It's quite a dumb surround sound system. You can't alter the volume of the center speaker, for example, independently. You can alter the level of the surround sound. You can't alter the level of those speakers independently either. You can only say surround sound up, or bass up, or treble up, or those things down. is quite basic in that regard, but it sounds phenomenal. These are really, really nice sounding speakers, and this is an area that I have some expertise in. I'm hoping the price of this comes down. Go check out the links and see what it says there. I hate this moron. He forgot to say something. Paul from the past sucks no matter which Paul from the past it is. So the thing he forgot to say is that, And I hate Paul from the past that isn't quite from the further past, but is from the fairly recent past. The thing he forgot to say was that the Valerion Thunderbeat system, although is very clever in that it all just syncs up the second you plug it in, it doesn't know which speaker is which, and you have no way of telling it. So you have to physically swap the speakers around to the correct locations. Probably a small thing, but I figured I'd mention it. Yeah, back to Paul from the distant past, I guess. So can a projector replace your TV? Yes. With the right screen, with the right ambience, it really depends on your environment and how much you're willing to dim the lights, and which screen you want to put in place as a consequence of how willing you are to dim the lights. Personally, I really, really value scale. The immersion that you get from a projector is just nothing like a TV. The TV is like watching life through a letterbox, whereas a projector feels like you're there. That's why people go to the cinema in the first place. If you want truly massive scale, I have projectors that work great on white walls, the Valerion Pro 2 being one of them. This one will too. And I've got screens that make these things work even better if I want to have the lights on or I want to have a curtain open. As you saw from my demonstration earlier on, having the curtain open barely affected this thing at all if you were just watching TV. When you want to watch a movie, you dim the lights, you shut that thing down, and you get proper contrast ratio and really, really bright image. If you're interested in picking one up, as I said already, the link's in the description, and go and check out Rob's video. He really is an awesome guy. All that remains to do is to thank these incredible people running up your screen. They're my patrons from Patreon, and without them, I wouldn't get to do this for a living. I thank them personally every week, so anyone that joins new, I try and give a shout out to, and this week it is Alistair Clark and Chris Groom. Seriously, thank you so much. If you want to do that, you can join me at either Patreon to support me long-term or PayPal to buy me a one-off beer. Here on my X and my Threads and my Instagrams and my TikToks, coming out there, I can be best friends. See you next time.